Hey everybody, this is Dave Coe, and today is the final day of part 3, a 3-part series on how to make digital type look organic and analog. Today we're going to take all the stuff that we learned in part 1 and part 2 and combine them together and animate this thing on from a black page. We're going to bring on the glow, make it look kind of smoky, misty, foggy, and we're going to do it in easy steps. Today's going to be a little bit longer, but it's going to be worth the wait. I've heard from a few of you that you really like this stuff, that you're really getting some great value and benefit from watching this series. Let me know in the comments. Press the like button, press the subscribe button, and ring that bell once you're subscribed so you can know when the next one's released. But let me know in the comments, especially if you're digging this stuff, if you wanted to learn anything new, if there's something that you saw and you want to learn how to do it in After Effects, Premiere, Photoshop, Illustrator, all of the Adobe software, just let me know and I will try my best to teach you what you want to learn. So without further ado, we will go into part 3. Here we go. Enjoy. Alright, so from our last couple weeks, part 1 and part 2, these are the 3 sort of major layers that we've created. The first one is this, the original type with some fading and vignetting around the type so it doesn't look as crisp and digital. And then the second layer we created was this one, which looks like this by itself, and it's just a blurred Gaussian blur, or you can use fast blur or another blur that works for you. And then finally our highlight pass, which is this one here, which is also in the transfer mode of add. Turn them all on, or I'll turn off solos. You'll see that it passes through real nice. You get that nice little pass, and that's pretty good as it is if you're just trying to keep it static and you just pop it up there. But today I want to show you how to bring that on, how to kind of wipe it on in an organic way. So we're going to start with our key layer, and we're going to play with the mask. You see that there's a button just there where you can toggle it on or off so we can see the shape of the mask. And what we're going to do is just take each of the points from the mask and wipe it off. You'll see that the shape changes there. That's how we had it before. And now to mask it on, we're going to take all of these nodes, and just a quick tip, the more nodes you have, the more of this kind of moving you have to do with this. So try to keep as minimal nodes as possible. If you double click on one of the nodes, you can select all of them and just move them as a group. I'll just make it a little smaller here so you can see. And you can see it across now. That's kind of the effect that we're going for, but we're going to apply that to not just this layer, but for the other layers as well. So you just swipe it back and forth to get this sort of wash. We're going to apply it now to our blur layer. Just open up the mask to see how the blur layer is moving. And we're going to grab each of these nodes and just click them back. If you hold down the shift key, you can grab more than one. I'm grabbing 2 or 3 at a time here. And see what that looks like. Okay, so it's coming on around the same time as the original layer, so we got to push that timing back a bit. And so what we're going to do is set a keyframe here and drag it back. If you hold down the shift key, it'll snap it right on top. That's a little trick. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we see a bit of it coming ahead. So we've basically started the blur layer keyframe. We've keyframed the blur layer to start a little bit before our clean layer. It's not quite looking right, so we're gonna scale it up a little bit and bring it back to its normal size here. And so what we want to do is go back into our key layer here, and we're going to blur the beginning of it so that we lose that the crispness. And the way that we can find out if there's an effect on there is press E for effect. And I had put in a Gaussian blur there. We'll just set the number so it goes from kind of blurry, pretty blurry, to clean at about the 2-second mark. I'll just mask that in so there clears up. So blurry to clean, just to add to that sort of fuzziness at the beginning where the shape is sort of hard to tell what it is. We'll just kind of play with our mask here a little bit so it starts a little later. So we really see that blur layer wash in first. I think it's almost there. So it's getting close. What we'll do is just go back to our blur layer and enlarge that layer, scale it up a bit, and then shift it over. So we'll have to set another position keyframe so it lines up, and then just shifting it over so it doesn't look like the blur's too far outside, but it's kind of on top of the letter still. I'm just trying to obscure that. I'm just going to raise the blur level of touch here so that it's really quite blurred out. And then we're going to go back to our clean layer and move that mask so it starts a lot later. So we have so the blurred layer has an opportunity to start first and get a head start. So I just turned off the shimmer layer so we can see what's really happening without being confused by that layer. I'm just going to raise the opacity, or sorry, lower the opacity so it fades on from nothing. So we're going from black to this, which is starting to look nice. So I think what I want to do is make the blurry layer come on a little faster so it ends faster. So I'm going to move that keyframe over so it ends earlier, and then we see more of that blur as the clean layer washes on. So I'm going to change the blur layer here a little bit and let's make it higher, see what that looks like. Scrub it through, it's not bad. Maybe we'll turn it actually down so it kind of resolves into the letter shape more now as we're closing out. Yeah, that's looking good. Yeah, it's really blurry. Now it goes to a nice blur out. And here we go. That's looking pretty sweet. So what we're going to do is make it a little bit bigger at the beginning. So scale up a bit there, and also we'll change the position. Move the original position over. It's actually looking pretty good. Let's see what it looks like when we play it back. Alright. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I like it. I like how it's settling in. Nice. Nice. So let's just move the blur layer to resolve a little later. The path there, that little area there. That's looking better. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm liking it. So I noticed that the clean layer is kind of stopping a little abruptly the scale and position. So I'm going to go in and use Flow, which is a great plugin to manipulate your easing. Usually I am in the graph editor trying to play around with the value and the speed, but this is a great little tool for doing that really quick when you don't need to mess around with the kind of the minutia of editing in your graph editor. So I'm just going to use Flow to get a ease out here. There's a bunch of different ones. It's a quick little thing for the scale, and let it resolve a little easier than it was before. That's looking better. Cool. There we go. And when you open up the graph editor, you'll see the curve here. And this is what it looks like straight as a linear, and this is what it looks like curved once we apply the ease. We'll just make it a little easier here. It out, there we go. And we might as well apply it to the blurred layer as well. So we'll just select the scale here and apply the same flow blur, and we'll get a nice little ease. We'll adjust the graph a little bit, the ease. Nice. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. Let's get into our shimmer layer. And just a little short key tip. U will open up the properties, or the properties that have keyframes, whatever layers. So you select the layers, press U, and it'll just open up the properties on those layers that have keyframes on them. Alright, so looking at the shimmer layer, it's a little bit early because we've shifted the timing of everything else. So we're just going to pull that mask a bit back here so it starts a little later. And we'll take a look at it. You can see the shimmer layer there washing on top. It's looking pretty good. We'll just move that so it's even later. That's looking pretty good. Actually, it might be following a little bit closer. Let's pull it back a little bit more so it starts a little later. Alright, it's looking pretty good. Maybe we'll take it back even further so it starts a little later. And take a look at that in real time here. Alright. Yeah, that's looking better. Alright, so we're going to add a look, kind of a globby layer, a little kind of misty, foggy layer. So we'll just duplicate our blur layer and we'll make it a little tighter there. And we'll just change the position, move it back, so we just kind of make the cloud a little bit bigger. And we'll make our scale it up a little. We'll go into our mesh warp, so we can distort the shape of our fog layer just by taking these points and moving them around. Just make sure that you click on the points and not miss them. You can also shift them around like this to change the shape or direction. So we'll just set a keyframe there, make sure that's our beginning keyframe, and then move it along and just kind of tweak them a little bit so it looks like it's kind of moving around just like smoke. And that's what we're really trying to get at, is sort of this directional fog smoke effect that's happening behind our layers. So what we're going to do is reset it to its original coordinates, the mesh warp, so that the word, so that it returns back to its original shape of the word. And so the glow goes back to its original shape there. So here it is. We'll just take the mask, so it fades in from nothing. We're just going to close that mask up and pull it back a bit. And there we go. That's looking pretty good. Just so it fades on with everything else. It doesn't start from mist, but it's kind of fading in with everything else coming on. There we go. Oh, that's looking pretty good. Alright, so we're just going to take another look at this. Make sure everything's coming on proper. Oh, it's a little wonky there. The keyframes are kind of changing too fast, so I'm just going to ease that. Kind of a medium easy ease. Still kind of a little wonky there. I think what I need to do is make the blur a little bit more blurry. So we'll just move that keyframe there and make this keyframe a little bit more blurry. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's take a look at this. It's looking pretty good. There is still that little hitch there where the T and the bottom of the T comes out. I'm going to take out that keyframe, see what it looks like. It's a little bit better. You'll have to ease the blur too, so it's not as dramatic a change. Helps a little bit. Let's see. I think what I'm going to do is fade out the end so that kind of works a little bit smoother. Let's see if that seems like it's kind of working. Yeah. So we go from fog to slow reveal, and then kind of snap into the original position and size of the text. That's looking pretty good. I think we could probably keep tweaking it forever, but I'm going to call it a day. And hopefully you have learned some tips and tricks in this one that you can apply to your future projects. And I'd love to see what you guys make with this. Congratulations, you made it through all the way to the end. Thanks for watching it all the way to the end. This one I know was a little bit longer than the other ones. If you watched all 3 series, thank you so much. If you enjoyed the series, let me know in the comments again. Let me know that this is the stuff that you like to learn. and I will give you more of it. And let YouTube know and other people who might be searching for this stuff that you enjoyed it by liking it, by clicking the thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button, and then clicking that bell if you want to be notified for the next one. I'm trying to do these on a weekly basis. Last week got a little crazy with client work, but I will continue to do these on a weekly basis. Don't forget to tell a friend. Don't forget to tell someone who you think would get something out of this. An easy way to do that is just to click the share button here, and you can share it with whomever you want. I would deeply, deeply appreciate that. Until next time, keep making stuff, and I will see you later. Ciao!